This is case number 20123363 FH, People versus Ashton Lorenzo Leon. And Mr. Leon, you were scheduled this afternoon for an arraignment on a 2-count probation violation. We made arrangements to have arraignment attorney Diane Longoria represent you today. And the court has been advised that you wish to enter a plea of guilty to count 1 of that violation. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Would you raise your right hand, please, sir? Do you solemnly swear, oath, or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right. In this case, do you understand that you were placed on probation to this court for 2 felony offenses? The first being receiving, concealing a stolen firearm. That is a felony which carries up to 10 years in prison and or $5,000 fine plus cost. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And count 2, possession of methamphetamine. That's also a 10-year felony, and that carries fines of up to $15,000 plus cost. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And have you had an opportunity to go over with your attorney the 2 counts of your alleged violations?
Yes.
Okay. Count 1 indicates that you violated condition number 3, which required you to report to your field agent as ordered, and that on or about January 14th, 2021, and on the 28th of January, that you failed to report to your probation officer as required. To understand the allegations contained in count 1.
Yes, sir.
Count 2 says that you violated condition number 4.2, that you not change your residence without permission from the field agent, and that on or about January 29th, you were reported to no longer be staying at your authorized address, which was 936 South Oak Avenue, White Cloud, Michigan. To understand the allegations contained in count 2.
Yes, sir.
Do you also understand that people that are charged with violating their probation have a number of rights?
Yes, sir.
All right. And we provided you and your attorney with a written form, probation, arraignment, advice of rights form. Did you have an opportunity to read that document?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
Did you go over those rights with Ms. Longoria?
I think so. Yeah, we just talked about it.
Okay. And do you understand that one of those rights is the right to give you the right to contest these allegations at a hearing? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
At that hearing, it would be the prosecutor's burden by a preponderance of the evidence to prove that you're guilty of these offenses. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you'd have the right to question any witnesses that the prosecutor would call against you?
Yes.
Do you understand that the court would order any witnesses that you have for the defense to appear at a contested hearing?
What was that, sir?
Do you understand that if you had any witnesses for you, that the court would order them to appear at a contested hearing?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that at a contested hearing, that you would have the right to be represented by an attorney, and that if you could not afford an attorney, the court would appoint an attorney to represent you at public expense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you also understand that you would be pleading guilty today without the benefit of any sort of a plea agreement or sentencing agreement? You understand that?
Well, then, I don't know what to do then if, like, there's gonna be no plea agreement or anything. So what would happen? What would,
Well, if you wanted to go through with a guilty plea today, the court would then go through the plea taking process, and then I would set a sentencing date. And before the sentencing date, the court would get an updated pre-sentence investigation report that was prepared by the probation agent, and they may make a recommendation to the court. The prosecutor would make a recommendation to the court for what he thought an appropriate sentence would be, and I would hear from you and your attorney at the time of sentencing as to what you think an appropriate sentence would be. But the difference here is that if you just plead guilty now, I don't know how you've been doing on probation. I don't know anything, what you've been up to since you've been sentenced. So right, I couldn't sentence you today. I don't know anything about you today. You understand that?
if I plead not guilty, you're gonna set a hearing. And if I plead
Correct.
guilty, you're gonna set a sentencing date.
Correct.
Will I see my probation officer before this hearing?
It's possible.
Because I just need to talk to my probation officer because I don't need jail time. I've been here, I've done this, I need rehab.
Yep,
That's
that's,
fine.
that's all
Hang on.
things that would be brought up at sentencing.
Right. So, so you have, I mean, all we're scheduled for today is an arraignment. And if you're not sure what you want to do, and you're not sure what your probation agent's going to say, you should listen to the advice of your attorney. But I'm guessing the advice of your attorney was just plead not guilty. By then we'll get a recommendation from the probation department and you'd have a better idea what you're looking at. But if you want to enter a plea of guilty today, I can do that too.
I'd like to plead not guilty.
All right. And I'm guessing that was Ms. Longoria's recommendation anyways, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to enter a not guilty plea for you today, sir. The next thing that we need to do is set a bond in this case. Your probation agent had recommended a $5,000 cash or surety bond. And Mr. Stang, is there anything that you want the court to consider in setting a bond?
No, Your Honor, I think that's an appropriate bond due to the non-appearance to the probation officer.
Okay. And Ms. Longoria, is there anything about Mr. Leon's situation that you want the court to be cognizant of before I set a bond?
Yes, Your Honor, it's my understanding that the 936 South Oak Avenue is a correct address for Mr. Lorenz, or Mr. Leon. So we would ask that be taken into consideration. Additionally, Mr. Leon did indicate that he's currently not working, and he does want to get into rehab as well. And if he is allowed to be released, he can get with his probation officer and see about getting that set up. He did also indicate did suggest that he request a court-appointed attorney as well because he is not currently working.
All right. Now, Mr. Leon, we've entered a not guilty plea for you to these two charges. And I don't want you to make any admissions to anything else that may be a violation of your probation. but is there anything about your personal circumstances that you want the court to consider in setting a bond?
Everything that has happened through this court has been because of drugs. And I've done jail. I've done juvenile. I've done all that. It don't help me. It hasn't helped me. And I haven't been to rehab. And everybody keeps telling me that that would be good. So I just thought,
All right, so the court is going to set a bond, and this is the lowest bond that I typically set in a probation violation case. I'm going to set the bond at $5,000 cash or surety. Now, Mr. Leon, is it true that you have not been working?
yes, sir, it's true.
When was the last time that you had employment?
It was like, I don't know, a month ago. It was under the table. I was doing a little bit of roofing, and the guy still hasn't paid me.
All right, and before that, what was your job?
Job before that. Well, I'm hoping I can like go to rehab or something, because there's like halfway houses, rehabs, and they'll help me
Okay, sir,
get jobs.
I was asking you about your employment. You said you did a little bit of under the table work for a roofer, but you didn't get paid. Did you have any other source of income recently?
Nope.
Okay, the court is going to appoint an attorney to represent you in this case. The court's going to appoint John Greer, and I'll set your probation violation hearing for March 15th at 9:30 in the morning. Now, if you post your bond, you're still on probation, and if you post your bond and get out of jail, you need to contact your probation officer immediately. If you can't post bond, you just stay where you are. This time will be counting towards any sentence I impose, and then we'll have a probation violation hearing or a plea on the 15th, okay?
On the 15th?
Right, we'll either have a contested hearing, or we can take your plea on the 15th.
Okay.
All right, so.
Is that all?
Yeah, if you post bond, what are you gonna do?
Get a hold of my probation officer right away.
All right, and you probably should contact Mr. Greer right away too, then, okay?
How do I contact my probation officer from in jail?
I don't know. We'll let them know that you were picked up on the warrant, and if they need to see you, they'll come over and see you. Other than that, I don't know if they let you call from over there or not. All right, that's all for today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.